Rison Football Parent Meeting. We're very proud to be a part of a proud tradition that's won 8 state championships, 33 district championships, 25 10-win seasons, and 45 playoff appearances, which is a state record among all classifications. So we have a rich history here. First conference championship was in 1948, and we're doing everything that we possibly can to keep that tradition going. At this time, I'd like to introduce our coaches so that you can put a face with a name and you'll know who's coaching your young men. Coach Dean Adams. Coach Adams is the junior high head football coach, so if you have a junior high question, he would be the man that you would contact. He is a Fordyce graduate, was a 3-sport athlete there, football, basketball, baseball, all conference in all 3 sports. Has been here for 7 years and has done a great job for us. Our defensive coordinator is no stranger to our rich history, Coach Kent Baggett. He is a Rison High School graduate. His daddy was on the 1950 championship team. He played here. His son played here. Now his grandson played here. He was a great college football player at Ouachita Baptist University, led the old AIC in rushing, and was also a head football coach and a defensive coordinator, and won a state championship. So we're very fortunate to have Coach Baggett here at Rison with us. We've got Coach Smeltzer. Coach Smeltzer is going to be our 7th grade coach and our head baseball coach. He played at Magnet Cove High School, graduated Magnet Cove, played football and baseball there. Actually played in that mud bowl, those of y'all that remember when we went over there and played in the playoffs in the rain and mud. Just finished up his baseball career at Delta State, where he was a really good player, starting third baseman for him. We're very excited to have Coach Smeltzer. If you have a 7th grade question, you will contact him or Coach Adams, or Coach Marshall, excuse me, which leads me to Gary Marshall. Gary Marshall is our 2nd year here, and Coach Marshall is a Warren graduate, played on the state runner-up team there, was a 4-sport athlete there, football, basketball, baseball, and track. And we were very fortunate to have Coach Marshall. He will also be the 7th grade contact person, and he also assists with baseball. So those are your coaches. We're very proud to have them all, and we will, if you have any questions, the field house number is 870-325-6182. Those will be your contact people. You can also email us by first.last name, so like gary.marshall@ccs1.org. Thank you. We're going to try to provide you some information that you can download off of the Cleveland County School Facebook page, give you some information here. We have a schedule, shows our games. I know 7th grade, a lot of times we get questions there with 7th graders. We will play 7th grade games on Thursdays at 5:30 before junior high games. Anybody that will play us, we get into some situations there with numbers, or like some of those bigger schools where we had to schedule Sheridan and Pine Bluff this year because we couldn't find the smaller schools where they have separate schedules. So that's why we do not have a 7th grade per se schedule. It's just we plan to play every time we possibly can at 5:30 on Thursdays. This is a sheet for the 7th grade parents, kind of lets you know what we expect out of them, what they need. We'll start them up the first day of school. Be sure you have your physical ready to turn in, because if we don't have a physical, we can't start with those fellas on the first day, and sometimes that slows us up as far as being able to play that first game. Our program philosophy, 7 through 12, is we're a systematic program. In other words, we're building for Friday night. We're going to teach a system that they will play in offensively, defensively throughout their high school career. So we're trying to find positions that we think that they will be best suited for when they get up in high school. Sometimes in junior high, a bigger guy can
run over people, or 7th grade can run over people, and he may be a running back and look like he's all world in 7th grade, and then people mature and grow up, and really that young man should be a lineman and would be a really good lineman in high school, and he doesn't have the proper training, and people get faster than him, people develop, and so he gets passed by. So we're real guarded with that, and we try to project what they're going to become in high school. Our school practice and routines are 7th grade practices is first period. Junior high during the school day we'll practice 3rd and 4th period. On Tuesday afternoons we bring our 9th grade after school to practice with the high school. We have one staff that works 7 through 12. This allows our 9th graders to kind of get used to practicing after school. At the end of, they get some fundamental work. We usually at the end of the practice do a 9th and 10th grade scrimmage so we can compare 9th and 10th graders together. It gives us an idea of what we have coming up. Also indoctrinates them to longer practice and lets them see that those things that they've been working in junior high are going to translate over to high school. And our high school practice is 8th period and then after school. Of course, we have summer workouts that are required in order to participate. And of course, I'm sure everybody is aware of that. We always pass that calendar out before spring break. Normally I get that out the first week of March so that you can plan for vacations and so on and so forth. It is a progression. The 7th grade, there's no requirement for summer workouts. 8th grade, there's a little. 9th grade, it progresses a little bit, and then high school, it gets up to be a little bit more. But we have to do that to get them in shape. We're in a society today where most of them are not out in the heat, so that's a real concern with heat acclimatization. We have to keep their bodies in shape to prevent injuries, and if we don't require that, then 85% of them are not going to do anything. So that is our summer requirements, rules and expectations. We expect our young men to be at practice, and sometimes we have issues with that. If you're not at practice and you call, and you let the coach know beforehand, if you know you got something the next day, that's what we call an excused practice. Okay, but there's makeup for everything. Unexcused practice, there's more makeup. It kind of progresses as you get older. When you get up to high school, then it's 5 gassers for every missed practice, and then if there's no call, it's 5 gassers plus bear crawls. So, and that's a systematic deal that we teach them from 7th grade on up. So, we want your young man to call. We're trying to teach him to be responsible. We coach him, not you. I know that's tough. They're getting in 7th grade, they're growing up, but we're trying to teach them to mature. The goal of our program is to make them better men and make them responsible and help them later in life. And those are some good qualities that will follow them later in life. I've had numerous players get interviewed, get jobs, and have been complimented multiple times because a young man made a call when he thought it might be a little bit late, so on and so forth. So those are life lessons that we're trying to teach. Bus rides, that is up to each sports coach. In football, we require our players to ride the bus home. There's multiple reasons for that. The football equipment is very expensive. On average, it costs about $400 to suit out a player. So we need to be sure we get our equipment back. Number 2, it is a great team building activity. When you win together, that's a great reward. Enjoying that time with your teammates. When you lose together, it's a time that you reflect and you try to correct those things. But that is a team building thing. We require them to ride home on the bus with us, and that's 7 through 12. So another thing that eliminates is negative voices in their ears. A lot of times, as a parent, your main concern is your child. You get them in the car and, well, how come so-and-so didn't do this? How come so-and-so missed this block? If so-and-so hadn't a fumble? If coach hadn't have done this? And then before you know it, they're home and they've got all this negative stuff in their ears, and that creates problems amongst our team. Try to keep them together so that there's something about that bonding experience on the bus. The main thing that we emphasize, of course, we have a lot of school rules, that are in place, but we emphasize that don't embarrass the pride and tradition of the Rison Wildcats. It's a privilege. It's not a right. Athletics, you sign up for that. That is a choice. That's not something like an English or math or science class. It's something that you chose to sign up for, and we have to always keep in mind that is a privilege. I'd like to touch on pain and injury. When you play football, there's going to be some pain. Naturally, we don't want anybody to play injured. We ask that your son communicate with the coaches. If it's something that you think maybe they're hiding from the coaches, please, parent, feel free to communicate with us. We have braces. We have a lot of different exercises, treatments we can do. Anytime we know anybody's got a little pain, we're going to treat them, with ice or some type of therapy, some type of exercise, but we can't do that if we don't know. We do have a supplemental insurance that if a young man gets injured, that will pick up and pay what your insurance doesn't cover. Please inform us of anything that they might need personally, like an inhaler, an EpiPen, or anything of that nature. There is a form that will be sent home that be several different pages that will go over various require signature. It goes over concussion, it goes over heat protocol, MRSA, sudden cardiac arrest. All of our coaches are required every 3 years to be updated on that training. It's something we spend time on. We visit on emergency action plans, we visit on heat plans, but we need your help. It's something that we take a lot of concern with. But we're not with them all the time. So please read through that, and then that is a required signature on this page. Prior to the season. So that'll be sent home with your child, and we will have to have that back. Okay, there's some information there that will help us at home as far as I know it gets frustrating with laundry, but we cannot allow laundry to be in the locker rooms because that's how MRSA spreads. You leave a towel in the locker room, and your son wipes his sweat with it, he's got a little cut, and then he takes that towel and he wipes somebody else, and then that's how it spreads. So we had an epidemic with that probably 12, 13 years ago, and that once we started doing that, it cut down. So we encourage, especially your 7th grade, junior high, carry them a little backpack or a bag. I've even had some with Walmart bags. I just put their stuff in their Walmart bag and set it in their backpack. Just carry that home every day, bring it back. Now, they will leave equipment at the school as far as their shoulder pads, helmets, so on and so forth. But there's some tips there with MRSA. Here's tips with heat. We really need your help there. Research says that most of the time, heat can be prevented. Heat problems can be prevented, and a lot of it starts at home as far as they need to eat. And I know I hear this all the time, well, they get sick when he eats. Find something they can eat, whether it be toast or crackers. You go out there and you drink on an empty stomach, and there's nothing to absorb that water. They need to be hydrated when they get to the field house. We have urine charts in the field house. You can look at your urine. If it's dark, then you're not hydrated. We weigh in, weigh out preseason. It gives us an idea of how much weight they've lost, and we try to tell them, for every pound they've lost, they need to drink a 16-ounce bottle of water. They need to stay away from carbonated beverages, certainly alcohol, drugs, and vaping. That's an issue in our society now that puts them in harm. I always warn about the energy drinks. There's documented issues there with people drinking these energy drinks or or various type of supplementations. ADHD medicine sometimes makes you more susceptible to heat. So that's something you need to be in correspondence with their doctor. All these things can make somebody a little more vulnerable to heat. And over here, you see that some other things here that you can help us with as far as at home. Be positive with your child. I always say this. I've coached for 28 plus years. Kids want a parent. They don't need another coach or friend. A lot of times that role gets blurred. I know sometimes y'all get aggravated with us as coaches, and I promise you there's times we get aggravated with y'all as parents. But be the authority figure at home. Give them instruction. Give them encouragement. Let them know you're proud of them. What they're doing is something to be proud of, something that's going to hold them accountable, that's going to make them a better person, and hopefully prepare them for life. We encourage you to embrace the team concept. That's a little foreign in our world, but I have very many friends in the business world that are highly successful, and that's what they're looking for. Whatever area of life that your son plans to endure, he's going to have to get along with other people. He can't be so self-absorbed that he doesn't have the needs of a team, a company, a business, wherever it is that he works. It can't always be about me, and that's something that team sports may be one of the last places in our society that is taught. I encourage you to talk to your son about quitting. If you start something, finish it. If you finish the year and you don't think you want to do it the next year, be honest. Be honest with the coach. Be honest with your teammates. We have too much quitting in society. I'll preach a little bit here. You look at our divorce rate. You look at our unemployment rate. You look at dropouts in college rate. They are constantly escalating, and that's because of the way the kids are being raised. Something don't suit them, they get a little upset to coach. They're not going to be the star. Then they turn it in and quit. And we make excuses for that. We call that all kinds of things. He doesn't want to. He lost his love. He doesn't have time. He wants to concentrate on this. But the bottom line is it's quitting, and it's a habit that'll follow you later in life. Hope that you have realistic expectations about scholarships. This is a really good article here. 2 pages there. Hope you can screenshot that. Because it talks about the likelihood of your son being recruited. It's a real minimal possibility in every sport. There's a lot of people that throw that out there to try to get kids swayed to certain things. In reality, there's very little money that's put into that. I had a good friend that was the athletic director at Cabot High School, and he was talking about a young man that had a big signing ceremony, and he had received a baseball scholarship. He said he looked at the scholarship, he was getting $1,000 to go to a $13,000 school, and he was evaluating how much money and time those parents have spent with him growing up. If they would put that money in the bank, they could have paid for him to go where he wanted to go and play. And that's got to be pretty prevalent in all our sports. The smaller football programs, basketball, there's only so many scholarships, about 10 at the smaller schools. If you go to major Division I, there's 85 football scholarships, 12 basketball scholarships, like 11.7 or so baseball, softball scholarships. So you're talking about a limited amount of scholarships, Division I, which pays your child to go to school. So I encourage them to enjoy their high school experience, to have their focus on enjoying that time together, the life lessons that they'll learn. And if they have that talent, I promise you they will be found. There's all kinds of video out now. There's coaches constantly coming by. We have a rich tradition here. We get bombarded with coaches wanting video, coaches coming by checking grades. if we have a high caliber athlete, they will be recruited. And the thing that we're the proudest of is our kids always go off and do well. And that's because of the discipline and structure of our program. We have numerous kids that have gone on and not only excelled in college, but also got their degree finished. They didn't go there and quit when things didn't go their way. So we're very proud of that. And but understand that that is a very few people, usually about 1 in every 4 or 5 years. So please keep that in mind. Encourage your kids, help them play for the right reasons. We ask that you be positive with your involvement with them after ball games. You only get one chance to be a parent. We'd like for you to be a part of it. We'd like for you to enjoy it. We want an enjoyable experience. But once again, we want to emphasize that my goal, I better speak for myself because it kind of gets tainted. Sometimes my goal is not other people's goal. My goal is that when your son, if he plays for our program, Rison Wildcats, for 6 years, is then when he leaves, he's a better man. That he's responsible, that he's accountable, that he has respect for authority, that he's going to be where he's supposed to be when he's supposed to be there. He's going to do what he's supposed to do when he's supposed to do it, and that he'll go out in life and be a productive citizen. I've been doing it for 28 years. I have never had a player come back to me and say, "Coach, I wish that I had not played football." It may happen one day, I don't know, but I have numerous that come back, call, bring their kids back, and tell me the values that they learned have helped them in life, and that keeps me encouraged. So encourage your kids to stick it out, be a positive role model. Hopefully this information we provided today will help you. We'll try to get that on the school Facebook page. Hopefully you can screenshot that and download that information. Thank you, and good luck to the Wildcats.